Hey everybody, this is David at Barnyard Bees. We've got a little swarm in the air, or not in the air, up in the tree. And you can see it right there. Very tiny one, small. We're going to do a little barnyard bee experiment. This has actually come from my bee partner, Jimmy Pence. We're going to put a frame up there and see what the bees do, see if they'll go to it. I may be a little too late because they're trying to leave now, but we'll see what happens here. It looks like they're just getting ready to leave. I may be just a little too late, and I believe I am. He had done something similar to this. There's a big old horn up there trying to get him. He done something similar to this with a 5-gallon bucket in the frame. I was going to try it on the end of a pole to see how it worked, but they're leaving now, so we're going to miss out on that. What I was going to do is just land it up there like that and let them crawl onto it. Because he said when they did it in the bucket that it worked really good. So it looks like I'm at the end of the video. It don't look like they're taking off, I guess. I'll put it on pause and may get lucky here in a second. We'll keep an eye on that little swarm. I've seen them do this before. They'll come out in the air and meet up with another swarm and go back. That'd also make a good video. May get a combination of the two, you never know. But if not, I'll look around the yard and see if we can find another swarm. It's a very tiny swarm, and it's probably more than likely swarm out from our mini mate nuke down there at the, but let's see where they end up going. They're very slow in deciding where they're going to go. Sometimes when they do that, another swarm's coming in to merge in with them, or they may be going to a box. You never know about them. But I'll put it on pause again and see where they're going. Well, the traffic's starting to pick back up again. They was acting like they was leaving, but like I said, it's possible. I've seen it before. They'll come out and merge with another little swarm. It's possible. I was watching the traffic to see which direction. Usually when they leave from a limb and they have in mind where they're going to go, they usually go right there. They usually, once they leave that limb, they come out and they take off. They don't really hesitate very long. So I'm trying to watch the path of them flying, and I really can't see that they're going anywhere. So I seen this one develop last night before I was going to work, and I couldn't wait on it, so I had to go on to work. So as soon as I got back in the yard this morning, we stop off at the gym like we always do in the morning, and by the time I got here, they were just acting like they was leaving. Now traffic's really picking up pretty good now. A lot of bees in the air, and that may have attracted them back. There's a few bees going onto the frame. Let's just see what they do here. Like I said, this is a barnyard bee experiment. Inspired by my partner Jimmy. He did this, like I said, with a frame he put in a bucket, and he just raised the bucket up to the swarm and just leaned it up against the limb, and they crawled right on. He just lowered the bucket down, picked the frame up, stuck it in the hive. So we'll see how well that works here. That'd make a very interesting video. Now I know my frame's turned the other direction, the wrong direction, but at this point, I don't think it mattered too much to the bees. My pole wasn't quite long enough to reach that limb so I could lean it up against it, and I didn't have much time, so I was kind of rushing to get the pole. I went and got a PVC pipe and stuck my pool net pole inside of it, and it's starting to build up on it. But I'm gonna put it on pause. I don't want to draw this video out real long, and we'll see what they're gonna do. Then I'll resume here in a second. Okay, traffic is picking up pretty good. They're filling that frame up, but they're still flying around. We'll try to zoom in on it. Sometimes when I zoom in, I end up losing my video stops recording, so let's hope it doesn't do that. They're on both sides of the frame. I don't know if you can see very good on the other side, so I'll just hold it on this side, but there's just as many bees on the other side. They're definitely falling for it. And it looks to me, as soon as I pull it down, it should be easy to spot. They come off that limb. Like I say, when bees come off a limb, they have intent to either go to the destination of their new home or to merge with another hive. Now, it's very possible there could have been another pocket swarm, a small swarm come by, because there, it looks like there's maybe a few more bees on there than what there was originally. How well this is going to film in the sun on this direction, you may not be able to see it, but that side of the frame is just as full. I've never seen anybody catch a swarm like this, for sure. This would be the first that I've ever heard of on video. That was a pretty good idea, though, Jimmy came up with. He just put, like I said, he put that, he had an empty, I actually pulled this frame here out of a mini mating nuke that was queenless, and I shook all the bees off of it. And there may have been 2 or 3 bees left on it. And I put it on the end of that pole. He put it in a bucket and just dropped the frame in a bucket, which would work very good too, because a lot of people that has bees, they have a bucket and a pole ready to go at all times. So all you'd have to do is drop that frame down in that 5-gallon bucket and you're ready to go. Get you a telescoping pole. Some of, I mean, you can get poles, some of them will stretch up 30 foot. And you get in places where you can't shake the swarm. Many a times I've seen swarms like that where they're up against a hard limb way up in a tree that you can't do anything with. I promise you, you do this, you got that swarm. This is easy. You just set it anywhere close to them and they'll climb right on it. I was probably a few inches away from it. And just as soon as I set it up there, they started going right to it. You could take at it, you know, if you get you a long pole, the one Jimmy has, I don't know, I'm not sure where he got it. He told me, but I done forgot, it's like a 30-foot extension pole. And I mean, you could reach way up into those trees. Those trees there are probably 40 foot, so you could reach, they're probably not even quite that tall, maybe 30 foot, 35 foot. But you could reach way up into a tree, onto a place that you just couldn't possibly shake, and those bees will go right on that frame. No problem. As you can see, the traffic's slowing down. More and more bees are coming to it. It's going to take a few more minutes for them, I guess, to settle down completely. I'm sure the queen's on there, and what we'll do, I'll put it on pause again, so it won't take up too much video time. And I'll lower the pole down. I got my side cuts ready to go in my pocket, because I got it zip tied right now to the pole. And cut them off. I got a nuke ready to go. I can drop it right down in it, or what I could probably do too is just take this, and that's probably what I'll do. That little mating nuke that didn't have a queen, I'll look and see, but if I do that, I'm gonna have to cage that queen, which wouldn't be a problem. But I could always do that later on. I could always actually just set it in that empty nuke for now. Now the good thing about this, you're actually establishing these bees onto this frame even before you bring it down. So it's not, they choose to go there. It's not like when you shake them, you're forcing them to go. So then they have to crawl up on the frame. It's almost like them coming into a nuke and taking up residency. It's almost the same thing because they're choosing to climb on this frame. So they're more apt to stay this way if you can do this. We're gonna try to do a lot more swarms like this. Even in a 5-gallon bucket, you could, or you can make you maybe another idea would be you could make you another platform where you could hold maybe 2 or 3 frames, 4 or 5 even. Maybe make you like a little light platform and put grooves on it that would actually hold the frames, like upright small pieces of wood. I was trying to think what the way you could do that just straight off my head, where you could actually set those frames in it just like they were sitting in the hive, raise that up onto a big swarm. This works fine for a little swarm, but if you get into a big swarm, you may have to do 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 frames if it's a huge swarm. You could do that in a 5-gallon bucket. You could put 2 or 3 frames maybe and let them crawl in it. But this is working excellent. They're settling down. Let me put it on pause again and we'll resume here in a second. Okay, this is David again. Just in case, because I've been having a little bit of issues with my phone ending the video without me ending it. So for some reason, if this video ends, I can't do a retake on this. So I'll post it as is, and it'll just end when it ends because I don't want to lose this. This is a good video, but if for some reason, if I do lose it, you know, thanks for watching Barnyard Bees, and please like and subscribe. But I'm hoping to keep continuing with this, and the reason I brought this back up, I see another swarm brewing right now as we speak. And after you do this for so long, they're just, you know the movement. Kind of excuse the mess in the bee yard. We've had a lot of empty boxes and we've sold a lot of bees, and so I got a little bit of a cleanup to do down here, I know. But you can see the bees in the air. They're coming out. And I know it's not a hive beetle issue because we've pretty much taken care of the hive beetles. There's not much. The biggest problem is just time to get these bees taken care of like we should, because we're still not doing this full time. So bees grow out faster than we can keep up with because they're really growing. You can see them in the air, and it's possible they could end up over there on that frame. We'll watch and see. This may be a longer video than I thought, but I think it'll be worth it. I think people will enjoy watching this. Right now I'm right in the middle of another swarm. You can see it all around. I'm standing right in the middle of it. And it's flying all around me. And that would be really interesting if it ended up on that frame as well. I've still not seen what box they're coming out of yet. And I want to keep an eye on my frame over there. The bees are landing all over me. We got to do a fall cleanup. Like I said, a lot of these boxes, we've bred and sold so many bees out of this yard right here. And like a lot of the times the frames with the hive beetle problem, some of them had the hive beetle problem issues with them, so we've set them out on the side. So what we got to do is go back and and cut a lot of this wax out, melt it down, and then we'll save the frames. Some of it's got little, we'll use frames that just has a tiny bit of wax on it. You don't always have to have a full starter strip, like, well, not even that much. Where the bees had built this wax on the top of the frame here, that's all you need for them to get started. And really, I mean, they'll even draw it out in early spring with pretty much anything, because they'll draw out anything early in the spring. That's why plastic works so good early on in the spring. Then as the season goes on, it doesn't work quite as well as wax. Bees are extremely active for sure, but this little swarm right here is, still haven't tracked down what box it's coming out of, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what it does. Kind of get a little bit of a back view on it. You can see it. Okay, let's go see what our swarm over here is doing. Get out here in the shade where it won't hurt the picture quality as bad. They're still flying, and I mean, I don't know, when I pull it down, it's got more than one queen. I mean, that's not always a combination of hives, so sometimes, you know, queens will hatch out and they'll go along with the swarm as well, but some of these swarms we've been actually finding mated queens because they lay immediately. We'll pull them out, separate them, put them in their own nuke, they start laying, so they're absolutely mated. I don't know if you can see on the video there, this video is going to draw out a lot longer than I thought, but that's okay. It's going to be interesting video. Most of the time I make a video, I never plan on it. It just, I'll be out in the bee yard and something pops up, or an idea pops up, or an idea my partner told me about pops up, and then I thought, well, I'm going to try this. Okay. They're still coming in pretty good amount. There was a big old Japanese hornet up there torching them a little bit. I don't know where he ended up going. I'll put her on pause and see what happens. Okay, I found out where this little swarm's going. They're all going in this box right here, and I'll show you that it was completely empty. As you can see, there's nothing on the frames. This was just a one where the bees didn't make it. It was a split, and late season split that the queen didn't mate, and the bees dwindled down. And the bees like it. Let me show you something right here. Remember me talking about in the other videos about the fanning of the bees? Always a good sign. See right here, this one right here on the end of my finger. They're coming in by the loads into this little box right here that's empty, completely empty. The most gentlest bees you can find, I guarantee it. These bees are just excellent. You can be right in the midst of them, and they're just as gentle as can be. New beekeepers, study your bees. Like I said, pay a lot of attention to them. Study their habits and their behaviors, and that's how you learn. But that's exactly where this. See, I didn't even have a lid on that because it was there was no bees in it. So I'll put that lid on. I'll mark it so I'll know that swarm went right there. So we can turn our attention back over here to this swarm, and hopefully they're about done. If they are, we'll bring that thing down from the tree. We'll look for the queen. They're still flying around a little bit. You'll never be able to get all the bees on it because some of them are going to be flying out, but more than likely, well, I know the queen's on there by now. But I'll put it on pause and we'll bring it down and we'll look and see what we got on there. Okay guys, here we are. I got it down and sitting on my tailgate, and there's a lot more bees on this side, and I'm glad the light is shining on this side because I want to show you right here. Always have the hardest time locating these on the camera. So I got to point with my finger so I can find her. You see her right there. Look at that queen. She's black as a wasp. Like I always said, in this yard, we call these mutt bees. I mean, we genetically, the majority are Italian, but here's the truth, and everyone's got a, this is how this works, is it's really hard to claim 100% pure anything, because how could you possibly claim that when your neighbors might have bees? You got wild bees in the woods that have drones that mate with your bees. So at the end of the day, you know, you may have 70% Italian, but you know, I mean, look at her. She's black, and so I mean, you can come up with your own conclusion on that. But right there she is. Right there's a queen. I want you guys to try this for yourselves. This is a barnyard bee original right here. I've never heard of anybody doing this like this. I mean, we've done it with a whole hive, but not a single frame, putting it up in the air. So try it, see how it works for you. I'm gonna have to end the video so I can cut this off, and I'm gonna stick it in the nuke. We got our queen. She's in there, and she's right there. She goes walking around the corner. Good thing about this too is you know, when you shake them, you could always damage that queen. This is pretty gentle. I don't think you could find a more gentle capture of a swarm than this. Yes, the video got drawn out pretty long, but I think it's worth it. I think people will enjoy this. Please, if no one's ever seen a swarm done this way, please pass this video on to other beekeepers. This is pretty interesting right here, and we thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. We still have queens for sale. Call Heather, our store manager, 706-508-8605, and I'll put the number in the description. And please check us out on Facebook. We have a group page, Barnyard Bees Incorporated. Come join our group, and please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching Barnyard Bees.